Welcome back to Poetry and Police. My viewers and my subscribers, respect. Welcome back to the channel. Listen, people, I'm going to say this to you. I'm going to say this to you clear. And I have been saying this to you people from I just started this channel. As a matter of fact, from the first set of videos, I have been saying these words exactly, that everybody in Jamaica right now, look around in your communities. Look around in your communities. How much criminals are in your communities? How many criminals are in your communities? And how many criminals are in Jamaica overall? I keep telling you people that in every community is just a handful of criminals. Just a handful, you know. In the police department, it's just a handful of criminal police, you know. Just a handful of corrupt police officers. But yet still, we are making the little handful of corrupted police officers destroy the Jamaica Constabulary Force. A time that police officers open their eyes and stop take bad name for the small percentage. Stop take bad name for the black sheep of the family. Stop taking bad name for the bad sheep in the family. Stop allowing people to say every police a thief or every police a criminal. No. As it relates to the real criminals, the real criminals them out in the communities. Look around you people. A time when we get rid of the little handful of criminals that are in the communities, destroying the communities. I cannot believe that 10,000 people are afraid of 500 men. That are the problem that I'm saying, you know, because everybody, you know what is the problem? All of us are in that mode. See no evil, do no evil, inform of the dead. That is the problem in Jamaica, because you don't see what's going on. These criminals use psychology to drive fear into your minds, because they unalive one person down the road, wicked, who call the police and tell the police something. So everybody are scared of them, and guess what now? Everybody in self-protection mode. A time when you open your mouth and start talk to police, because there are more police to be trusted these days than back in the day, and there are always police officers that can be trusted. I have been a police officer for years in Jamaica, and let me tell you something based off my experience with politicians. The only politicians I had seen in my days, because most of my service in the Jamaica Constabulary Force was PNP in power. PNP was in power in most of my service, if not all of my service as a police officer. The country was run by PJ Patterson in most of my service. And I remember when KD Knight was Minister of National Security. I remember that KD Knight came out openly and spoke harshly about these boys and how to get rid of these boys, based off of my knowledge. And he was trying to put down his foot against criminals. But never, I don't know, I am saying never in my memory. I'm not talking about your memory, you know. I am talking about my recollection as a police officer. I have never seen a prime minister came out so often and speak about criminals and about getting rid of criminals. No, the prime minister have hit the nail on the head in a speech that he did, that I have been speaking about this thing from I have been on YouTube. He's saying that people is just a handful of criminals in the country. It's not even 10,000 criminals in Jamaica out of all the Jamaican population. And we are going to chase these criminals out of Jamaica. And when the Prime Minister said we are going to chase these criminals out of Jamaica, he's not talking about just him, because him can't do nothing. Him only can give orders. He's talking about He's not just talking about the commissioner of police and the police officers that are under the commissioner of police. He's talking about you, the citizens in Jamaica. When we say we, is a collective word. We're not just talking about the politicians in Jamaica. We're not just talking about police officers in Jamaica. We are talking about the citizens of Jamaica. That we must chase these criminals out of the society. And we have to start by chasing them out of our communities, brethren. How many times do I have to say that to you? It's just a handful of criminals in every community. Listen, man. I spend most of my adult life in the Kingston 13 area. Big up Stephen Lane, the Hittis crew. Good youth them. Party and have fun. Big up the Hittis crew. Big up the Nelson Road man them, the good man them from Nelson Road and Fitzgerald Avenue and 17 Lane and all those places. Because you have good people in them lane there. Big up the Zander man them. But when I say now, when I live in the community, and just a few little cockroach I run up and was chasing and running all over the place. The ratty gang. How much of them so? It's just a handful of little brambles them. Little handful of, and most of them are little boys. And because them have two guns, we allow them to destroy the community and to make the community worse. Because guess what? We are so afraid to open our mouths even behind closed doors. That is how entrenched the fear was within people's mind, that nobody talks to the police. You will see a man unalive on the street there. Unalive on the street. And everybody, he grew up with everybody, play basketball, everybody in the warehouse on Bowens Road. A man drop out right there so. And nobody's telling the police. People are even afraid to identify the deceased on the ground, the victim. People are afraid. Everybody comes out and says, no, I don't know him, officer. When I was a police officer in Hunts Bay, most of these scenes where people are being unalive, these murder scenes, I used to be the one identifying these men because I knew them from the community. Because I go back on the scene and I am from the community and nobody is identifying the deceased. I used to identify the men because I knew them, but mostly by nicknames. And then I was be able to assist the investigator or myself to find the parent, because the only people who really identify these people are their parents, their girlfriends, or their kids, or their baby mothers, you know. But let me tell you this, people, from Ratty Gang come right up. People are afraid to talk, was afraid to talk, and people are still afraid to talk because we are letting a small handful of cockroaches run our lives. We are afraid of a small handful of men just because they have two guns. Yes, I am aware of the fact nobody wants to die. And everybody wants to preserve their lives. And everybody think that my life come first. But how is it in a modern society where cell phones are so rampant that you are afraid to take up your phone and call 911? Why that you are so afraid that you can find one police officer to confide in, to give information to? Why is it that in modern days that you are afraid to call the police station, know a police, find the police number, call the police from your privatize the cell phone, call the policeman on the cell phone and give him information about these criminals? As a detective, I have to have cards, business cards. When I go around, I issue them to people. And if they want to take it, I drop it on the ground sometimes because somebody will take it up because they do not want to take it in front of other people. Or even if I try to give a person one of my business cards, I slide it to them, hoping that they will take it and call me, tell me something what went on with this murder, tell me what is going on in the area. Every detective should have business cards to give to people and take time, be slick and slide it to them. But these are modern days we are living in, people. You have to rise up. The Prime Minister has issued not a warning. Well, he issued a warning to the gunmen in our society that we are going to chase you out because you are small in numbers. But people, open your eyes. I've been saying this to you for the longest while, the longest years now, that these men the men in our society, the men in our society is a small amount. So why is it that in a community
Did you
with,
make your coffee already?
what is it in a community with 25,000 people, you have 500 gunmen making everybody in the community scared? Why is it that? Why is it that a community with 10,000 people are afraid of 300 men or 200 men? Or sometimes it's not even 200 men. It's 20 men or 30 men. Why? And this is exactly what the Prime Minister is saying to you. Whether you be PNP or Labour, right, open your ears and listen what the Prime Minister say. Because this has nothing to do with politics right now. That speech has nothing to do with politics. That speech have everything to do with getting rid of the criminals out of your communities. And it's time that you people start creating community programs in your own home with your children. Start desensitizing your children to fear these men. Start programming your children to trust the police and trust the rule of law. That is all I am saying to you, people. How hard that cannot be. How hard can that be? It's like taking your children to church, which people stop do that. And people don't believe in the church anymore either. These are the things that I'm saying to you, people. And the Prime Minister, when the Prime Minister talked, the Prime Minister spoke. And what the man speak was sense. What the man speak is facts. Because this is happening in real time and real life. That only a handful, and not even a big handful, a small handful of the population of every community are hardcore criminals, are gunmen. Only a small handful. So why is it that we are allowing these little rubbish, these cockroaches, to control our communities and control our lives and let us live in so much fear? These are the men who are destroying good communities. Let me tell you something, people. And when I speak of an example. And I know that there are good people in ghetto communities. People actually love the police and wants their community to be great, wants the community to be clean and free of criminals. And I've proven this when I worked in the Seaview Gardens. Seaview Gardens, big up on yourself. A community who receive police. I've never worked in a community that received the police like Seaview Gardens before and trusted the police, most of the people in Seaview Gardens. And I remember when I just moved to Seaview Gardens, the inspector said, "Oh, Seaview Gardens people love police." That was not a lie. And the Seaview Gardens people worked with me to get rid of most of the criminals in Seaview Gardens. I got rid of them because the citizens in the community worked with me. Most of these citizens in these communities just want to find a police that they can trust to work with, that they see as their police. They just want a detective who they can trust. And they prefer police in plain clothes. They prefer police in plain clothes. So now the other day I went to Jamaica and I went to Seaview Gardens and there was no more CIB at Seaview Gardens. And what did I do? How Seaview must not have a CIB? A wrong move that. Whosoever in charge of St. Andrews South, if the commissioner know about this, are the worst move that in our life. If you take out the detective them from Seaview Gardens should have a CIB. And we disagree with that totally. Seaview Gardens, when I went to Seaview Gardens was one of the worst communities in St. Andrews South. And Seaview Gardens is not that community again. And I've seen people from time to time, so Mr. Blake, we have you to thank for that because you have set the precedence. And because working in conjunction with the people in Seaview Gardens, I managed to remove most of the criminals out of Seaview Gardens. It's either they were unalive, went to prison, or they ran away from the community. It is simply put. It's a tree. Listen, people, a tree. There's only 3 options for these criminals, you know. They get unalive, then go to prison, or they are chased out of the community. Chase them out of your community, like Bob Marley said, chase ballets out of town. And then Bob Marley was talking about these criminals. These people who decides to make other people's lives a living hell. These people decide to fire gunshot one land and don't care who gets stray bullet. These are the people the Prime Minister are talking about. It is time for us to put our time for these people in these communities. Put your hands and heart together, man. Reprogram your kids, man. Reprogram your kids to work with the police. Reprogram your kids to don't believe in this thing about informer for dead. Don't reprogram your kids not to see no evil, do no evil, brethren. Because the less evil, when you see no evil, do no evil, you create more evil. And these communities will always be crime infested. With what? A few men. A few little, I don't even know if you call them. A few little cockroach. I run up on them with barefoot and cut off foot pants with M16 rifle. Eh? I want to see them on a daily basis, you know, see how much people them alive and alive, and none of you are coming forward and telling the police nothing. Just a few of you. Out of every 1,000 people in these ghetto communities, in crime infested communities, out of every 1,000, you might only find 1 or 2 persons who are willing to work with the police. Why is it like that? But you have, every 1,000, you have 800, 950, 999 who prefer to work with the gunmen in the communities. It is you, the people, who are destroying Jamaica. Because hug up gunmen, faster gunmen. You are the people destroying the country, and then you blame the crime situation on the police and the government every day. You have yourselves to blame. Sometimes it's not even fear. Sometimes it's greed. Sometimes it's greed. Because the Dan can give no food for eat and give no liquor for drink. Whilst come and take on the data from on a 13 and on a 12-year-old data and a 13-year-old data from uno. So you people prefer to sacrifice your children. Sacrifice your children's freedom and your own freedom. Because most of you people who are living in these ghetto communities are living in prison. Imprisoned by 1% of the society. 1% of your community. That is how weak you are. The Prime Minister have spoken. And it's time for you people to start act. And chase these criminals out of your communities. Every member of every community, Kingston 13, Kingston 11, find a police to trust. Get rid of these men who are running around and find wanton gunshots and killing people and unaliving people on a daily basis without a cause sometimes. Chase them out. Chase them out of your communities. I have been saying these sentences for years now that I'm on YouTube, and the Prime Minister is now saying it. Chase the criminals out of your communities. Let us chase them out of our communities. It's not a you, it's we. And when we say we are talking about the Prime Minister, we are talking about the Commissioner of Police, and we are talking about the police officers, and we are talking about yourselves. It can't work without your input, people. It can't work without your input. And you are the major player in this. You are the essential part of the crime fighting machines to get rid of these criminals. Hell, without you people, we cannot fight crime without your input. Because you are in the communities with the gunmen. You know them, you see their actions. Only you can put them on the chopping block. Most of the time.